everybody, how's it going? I'm the Meister, and welcome back to Timbukton in episode 46 of the series. In today's episode, guys, we are going to start building the long-awaited Timbukton Airport. Both long-awaited from you guys and me also. I've been super excited to start building the airport for a very long time now, and I know a lot of you guys were questioning me about when I was going to start building it. So I'm going to start building it now. So for this airport, don't expect a Toronto Pearson or like a Boston Logan or something like that. This airport is going to be a lot smaller than that. It's going to be what I think is appropriately sized for a city like Timbukton. So what I have chosen to base this airport on is Portland International. And funny enough, when I started to construct the terminal portion of the airport, I found out just randomly that the terminal buildings are actually based on Portland's airport, which is kind of funny. But in this episode, we won't be getting into too much terminal stuff. We're going to focus on the basic layout of the airport in this episode, and probably the next couple of episodes too, because this is going to be a pretty large project, I have to say. But anyways, for now, I'm just going to play around with the basic runway layout. We're going to get into some taxiways here in just a second. Start to build the majority of the taxiways, or at least get a feel of how everything's going to pan out. But yeah, that's pretty much what's going to happen here. Right now, I'm working on the runways themselves, making them a little bit wider than, just the vanilla width, because we want Timbukton's airport to accommodate a variety of different airplanes, both small and large, so our runways have to be of adequate length. So building the taxiways and everything was actually a pretty big challenge for me, as I've only built a handful of airports ever in City Skylines, and this is by far the biggest project that I'm ever going, well, not that I'm ever going to, but that I will have constructed thus far. But to my surprise, there are so many new tools out on the workshop to build airports. It's crazy, like taxiways and runway assets and all sorts of stuff. Even like approach lights, whole bunch of stuff is pretty new for me anyways on the workshop. So it's really fun to be able to play around with that. And I do have some personal experience with airports, as my father's a pilot. And, I've had a lot of exposure to airports in my lifetime. And I'm thinking of getting my pilot's license at some point in my life. The only thing that's holding me back right now is how expensive it is. But, I will get there one day. So that just goes to say that I do have somewhat of a familiarity with airports in general. So what I'm going to try as much as possible to do with Timbukton Airport is to create something that's more or less realistic. By realistic, I mean like runway width and length, the taxiway layout, terminals, everything across the board. I want to make as realistic as I can possibly make it. It's kind of hard because there's so many intricate parts in an airport. It's kind of impossible to know everything without actually having like worked at an airport or something. But anyways, I'm going to try my best. We'll see how it goes. So already I've gotten a basic layout of the taxiways. I'm just going to play around with some terminal pieces for a little bit here, try to figure out how I want the terminal layout to look. And what I was going for was a sort of newly renovated terminal kind of thing. So I wanted there to be like an old section of the terminal that's more like boxy style, whereas the new part is this sort of round portion right here. So I want to make a sort of division between the two. But like I said, there's so many little pieces and parts that you can place down now. The possibilities are really endless on what type of airport you can build. It's pretty crazy. all in all, I don't really have a strategy for developing the airport. I'm just sort of going by what I feel like doing at the time. And at the time of doing this, I guess I just felt like building the terminal. What I can say is I have a general idea on how I want the terminal sections to work. Generally in airports, you'll have like your arrival and departure section, but you'll also have an area for your small airplane gates, so like your domestic gates, and then you have your international gates where more big planes will park. So I've thought of where I want those different parts to be. You'll see how this whole thing develops, and probably the next episode I'll feature it completely on a particular space of the airport. So probably the domestic terminal, as that's the next part of the terminal that I work on. And what you're seeing me work on right now, this actual puzzle piece that I've just placed down, that's actually from Portland's airport. And it was kind of funny how I discovered that. I was looking at Portland's airport on Google Maps, and I noticed that looks awfully familiar. And when I went back into the game, I said, well, you know, looking at these pieces side by side with Google Maps on my other screen, you know, it was a perfect match. So it was kind of funny that I was planning on basing the airport on Portland, and then finding out that the terminals I was placing down were actually from Portland Airport. That was kind of funny. So yeah, in the next episode, we'll probably do the domestic terminal. After that, I'm not too sure. However, I would like there to be a general aviation ramp on in the airport. And we'll also have to build a cargo area as well. So for like FedEx and UPS terminals, we'll get into that as well. You know, you're probably already seeing that this is going to be quite an extensive project. Not only that, we have to do the whole like parking section, all the logistical stuff around the airport, such as like approach lights, fences, you know, little details and decals and things like that. I'm really planning on placing down everything I can to complete the airport. And I'll try to be as accurate as I possibly can when it comes to, for example, like lights, taxiway signs, runway markings, things like that. I will give credit to the FBS project that's been worked on by 3 other City Skylines creators. I'm going to put a link down in the description to a tutorial on how to build realistic airports. And I mean, I have actually used that tutorial a number of times, as B. Squigglehausen, who is the I guess the author of that tutorial. He goes into really great detail on how to build realistic airports, so I've referred to that a few times already, so I am thankful for that. But yeah, forgive me guys if I'm a little bit all over the place. I said in the beginning of the episode that I was not going to focus on terminals. That is kind of true. I just wanted to get the basic outline of my terminal buildings, because then I can base my airport around that a little bit easier. So it'll give me an idea where to place down the general aviation ramp and all the cargo stuff later on. And it also gives me a good idea how to size the terminal and all that. So what I'm doing at this very moment is, well, this area is going to be the parking place. This building overhang here is completely, it's like a tunnel really. So that will lead into the parking area eventually once we get there. But right here is like the drop off and pickup zones. And the way that this terminal is shaped, I've only noticed that after placing it, it's like a 2-level situation. So you have like your overpass where, I don't know, your arrivals might be, and then your departures would be down below. I think that's usually how it works, from what I've seen so far anyway. So anyways, we're about 3/4 through the episode. Now that I have a good idea on how the terminal is laid out, I can focus on the taxiways now a little bit more. So I'm just going to complete the basic outline in this episode. I'm not going to fill anything in or anything like that, but I'm just going to create the runway connections for now. And like I was saying, like there's so many tools now to create awesome taxiways and runways. It's pretty amazing. Like since I built an airport last, the modding community has progressed to the point where like it's endless. You can pretty much build anything you can imagine now. But the main reason that I am sort of sprucing up my taxiways is to make it look more realistic for an airport that is going to handle some larger aircraft. So Timbukton is still a small city, but I wanted to make the airport look interesting. So I'm eventually going to place down like some A330s and some 777s. That's probably like the biggest aircraft that will be at this airport. Maybe the occasional like cargo 747 or something. I'm using the 747 to gauge the width of my runways and stuff. So the fact that it can accommodate such a plane, it can pretty much accommodate anything except like an A380 maybe. So this is pretty much where I'm going to cut it off, guys. I'm going to plop away for another couple of minutes while I'm talking, but that is pretty much going to be it for this episode. Unfortunately, I don't have any cinematics as I didn't really record any at this stage of the airport progress, and any cinematics that I would record right now would sort of be a spoiler. So maybe next episode, we'll see. But yeah, guys, I really hope you enjoyed this episode. I'm super happy to start this project, and I'm sure a lot of you guys are very happy as well, based on the feedback that I've been getting for the last probably a year now. You guys have been wanting an airport, so you're finally getting one. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Also, consider subscribing to the channel for much more content just like this on the way. But yeah, we're pretty much going to be working on the airport for the next 5, maybe 6 episodes, depending on how everything goes. So that is all for today, guys. Until the next episode, please take care.